Hi guys, welcome to another video of our API automation series. In this video, I'm going to discuss with you another one of the very important topic, which is nothing but TestNG, and we'll be discussing on what is TestNG and how to use TestNG, why to use TestNG, and what is the benefits of using TestNG, what all are the features that TestNG have. All these things we are going to discuss. But although TestNG is not a very small thing, it is a very big thing, and there are a lot of things to learn from the TestNG. And subsequently, we'll be releasing more number of videos on TestNG. This is just an introduction video, and this is just we are going to use couple of you can see features from TestNG. Not all the features we are going to share in this video. Okay, now let's quickly start. I'm taking you to the official website of TestNG. Here we will be seeing what is the definition of TestNG and different features. Right here you can see TestNG documents, and it is saying that TestNG is a testing framework inspired from JUnit and NUnit. Right, so it is actually basically inspired from JUnit and NUnit. What is JUnit? It is nothing but a unit testing framework which is mostly used by the developers for their unit test case purpose, right? And JUnit is it is actually for the TypeScript, JavaScript, those based framework which they are using the N unit, right? So here also it is saying that but introducing some new functionalities. That means the whatever features that is present there in the JUnit and NUnit, they are giving those features already. Also, they are introducing some new functionality, some new features to this TestNG framework, which is making it more powerful and easier to use, right? So what is TestNG basically in short? It is nothing but a test framework which is providing you a lot of functionality, lot of features, and which is developed on based on JUnit or NUnit, right? Here you can see the list of use cases or list of more powerful things that is TestNG is providing. Nothing but annotations. It's right, and here you can see different multi-thread save and flexibility of test configuration, data-driven approach. It is providing data provider, which is very big. You can see um, feature of TestNG. There also it's supporting of parameterization of your test case, right? So maintain takes a lot of tools it is supporting. So all these things you can see the advantages of TestNG, right? Now we'll be moving to this. Here one of the topic is you can see annotations. This is huge in TestNG. There are a lot of annotations available. I'll show you some of the test annotations that is available. Here you can see, go down here, you can see it has a lot of these are the annotations. Not only these are the annotations, there are a lot of other annotations also available there. Here you can see all the annotations and attributes have been listed here in this particular uh, table, right? If you want, if you can go ahead with this list official website and read about these use cases, because it is going to power your automation. It is going to make your automation suite more useful and more easy for your daily day-to-day activities, right? This annotations is nothing but making our job easy, right? So that is one of the reason why people go ahead with the TestNG, right? Although let's see and how to use this. Here you can see for download option they have given the dependency for Maven project. If you are using some other project, you can use Gradle dependency also available here. Synapse, all these things that how to implement it in your project. So if you are using you say Gradle you Maven project, so you have to use this particular dependency. If I copy it and if I go to my IntelliJ, so I'll be going to my pom.xml file. Here you can see I have already one. Uh, I have to add first the dependency, right? If you add you if I add this particular dependency, let's wait it to get added. So I can see this TestNG dependencies got added. Now the question is how to use TestNG, right? We have added this TestNG into our framework, into our project. Now the thing is how to use the test engine. You, if you go to one of the sample they have given here in this particular website, here you can see test engine. This is, let's say, this is your test class, and inside of this test class you have different test method. This is your fast test method, this is slow test method. There are two test methods they have provided, right? And here you can see they are using the same attribute which we have used already with JUnit, right? So for TestNG also we'll be using at that test, and they have a lot of different. This is one of the annotation they have used before class. Not only before class, there are a lot of you can see annotations are available. We'll see all these annotations, how to use that, what are the use cases, right? So those things we'll see later. But for now, let's just go ahead and create a test case for our project, right? So here you can see inside of this my package, I was creating all the test cases. Now for TestNG test, I'm creating one of the package, let's say called uh, TestNG, right? You can provide any name, whatever as per you choose. That doesn't matter. Just for understanding purpose, I just given a name as a TestNG. So, or you can see, let me analyze, rename it. I'll say my TestNG. Okay. So I just given name as a my TestNG, and inside of this I'm going to create another class. Let's say this is my test class. So earlier we create user test. So see, with the similar name I'll be creating, one second. Let's say create user test, right? Uh, so if I have already created another create user test inside my TestNG package, right? So here I'll be giving a test, creating a test method. Let's say I'm giving name. If you say at the test, here you can see you have two options. Either you go ahead with the JUnit or TestNG. So for now, we'll be going ahead with this TestNG approach. So I'll be selecting the second one, right? So now you have to provide the name of the test method. So I'll say public void and say create user, right? Create user test. So this is the name of the method, and inside of this I have to implement my test case method, right? So similar way I have to, let's say I want to create another method. So let's say, and this method I'll say update user, right? So I have created two test method. One is test create user test, another is update user test. Simply let's just give a print statement just to show you how it is working. So I'll say inside create user test, right? I'll say inside create user test. I'll copy and paste. I'll say inside update user test, right? So at this situation, if I run this particular test case class file, it will execute both the test cases. So here, if you click on this particular icon, it will run all the test cases inside of this class file. And this icon, if you want to execute separate test cases for each and every test method, you will be able to find these particular icons. For now, I'll be executing both the test cases, all the test cases, whatever they are in the class file. So if you execute this test case, now here you can see how the result is looks like, right? Here you can see the test basis, right? If you explore, this is the project name, okay, and this is your class file name, whatever the class file name you have given, and this is your method name, right? These are the methods, and here guys you can see that two test cases got executed. And if you see the suite execution result, here you can see it is publishing you the result also of your suite, right? So for now you can see it is showing you the number of test cases run, number of passes, failures, and skips, right? So these are the things it is displaying over here in the console. Now I want to show you couple of you can see annotations that is available there in the TestNG. Let's say if I see at that before, I'm getting here, you can see before method, before test, before class, before group, before suite, all the things I'm getting, right? So here, when to use for which annotation, that is important, guys, because people do not know what is the difference between before method, or what is the difference between before method and before test, or what is the difference between before method or class, and what is the difference between before test and before class. People get confused with this. So remember, guys, what is before test? It does. Before test is nothing but it is a talking about group of test. Okay, it is not what people do misunderstood with this uh, particular annotation is they think that this is the other test method. So before of this particular other test method, this before will get executed. But this is not the scenario. If I show you, let's say be public void and I'll say before test, right? So I'll just give a small print. So I'll say sysout before test. Now let me run the complete test class once again and we'll observe the prints, right? So now you can see my before test got executed only once, right? Although I have two test cases here in this particular test class file, but my before test, this method is got executed once. Now you can understand that it is not getting executed before each and every test method, right? So this is something different, and what is the use case of using before test? I'll discuss these things with you in different class. But today's class, I'm not going to focus on these things because today's class is on different topic, right? Now let's say I'm going to use before method. Before method, this is something I'm going to use in today's class. So I'll just say before method, or you can say setup method. Anything, whatever you want to give name, so you can give a name of this particular method. So if you say before method, now it means that before method will ensure it get executed before each and every test method. Okay, so this is important, guys. Just keep it understand it properly. Before, if you are using before method, so what it does ensure that your before method will get executed before each and every test method. Okay, not the classes or something else. Now let me run this particular test class. You'll be able to get it clarified. You can see my two test case got executed and my before method got executed before my test case get executed, right? So this is the basic of before method. And similarly, we have after method also. What it does before, after each and every test case get executed, it will be uh, get executed. So we have after method also. If you use after method, so what it you can see tear down. Okay, so let me change this to after. So what it does ensure that after method will get executed each and after each and every test method get executed. Okay, now hope this concept is clear to you guys. Now if I run this, here you can see first before method got executed, then your test method, and after that after method. This is got executed for one single test. Again, for another test case, this one got executed before, then test, then after, right? So now you can understand that if you have 10 number of test method inside a particular test case class, so before and after method both will get executed 10 times, right? Before method will get executed 10 times and after method also will get executed 10 times, right? Keep this concept clear, guys. Okay, I'm moving to our topic for now. Let's say I am interested on doing some actual tests. So let's say this is my test case, what I have written earlier. So I'll be using the same content here. So let's say I'm doing it. Okay, I just pasted it. This is one of the use case of my POJO class. If you guys already not went through my POJO class, so I'll be recommending you go through that video. There I have discussed what is POJO class and how to create and set the values for POJOs, how to create the response class for your POJO, and uh, how to use those. Right, those are the things that I have already discussed in our previous video. Now, let's say this is one of the my test case method. Uh, let's first execute it, and I will see the runs result. Here you can see our both the test case got passed. If you see for the first test case, this is the response we are getting, and this is the, you can see, status code. And second test is the blank one, which is we are just giving the print statement, right? Nothing but. Now, let's say what if I want to use this. This is a one my test case where I am creating the user, right? And inside of this user, I am getting the response which I am converting to this particular response, right? So this response, what is this response is all about? This response is nothing but, you can see, that is the response that we are getting once we are creating the user, right? So what if I want to use the in this particular response, you can see we are getting what is the name or id or job or some other details you may get in your API calls, right? So what if I want to use this particular key and keys into your different test case, right? So how to use it inside of this particular test method we have already used, right? Here you can see, if you say create users response dot get name, and we are validating that particular data with this our expected data, so we are able to do that, right? But what if you want to use this particular create user response into a different class, then how to use it, right? Because let's say I have created a user, after that I want to update the user, right? Then what, how you can do that? So let's say what I can do actually, if I create an object of this particular class, so what happened? Let's see. So I'll say new and create user response, right? Now let's say I want to get the data. So let's say I'm saying create user response dot get. Similar thing we will say get name, right? So get name, here we are able to get the get name. But if the similar thing I want to do over in the next test case, which is I'm executing after of this test case execution, so whether I'm able to get the name or not. So if I run this particular test, what happened? Let's see. You can see my both of the test case got executed. First test case passed, and the second test case, if I go to here, you can see the I am getting null, right? What is the reason behind of that? Because the reason is here we are creating a new object of this particular class, right? This is the create user response, which we are creating a new object, right? And this object is going to be this object completely new, because here whatever data you have pushed to this particular object reference, there is no relation between this object reference and this object reference. Okay, so these are two, this is a different object, and this is talking about different object. That's why in this, if you go to this particular class definition, there we are not, nowhere you will be able to see that we have set the value, right? We have method for setting and getting the values, but we did not set any value. So that's why the value is not yet set. So the data it is coming, that is nothing but null, right? So how to fix this issue? Let's see uh, what you can do actually here. um, so now first clear the concept, guys. So in this is a different of talking with the different object, and this is talking with the different object, right? So that's why you are not able to use this response data into your different method. Okay, hope the this issue has been, now I think you guys now clear with the issue why we are getting null for this second test case, right? So you can see this is throwing me a null, sorry, we are getting the null point, right? And if you are going to do any assertion, then you will be definitely getting the null pointer exception, right? So how to get rid of this particular situation? So what is the problem, guys? Now problem is you have created an object reference over here, and that object reference, the validity, or you can say it is valid for this particular method only. Inside of this test method, it is valid. But what if you want to use this data into a different method? Then how, or what are the approach that we can follow, right? So what we can do actually, if you, let's say your test method that you are using inside of this particular class file, and here you have created one test method, and after the subsequent method you want to use the same data of what you are getting in the response here in this particular test method, right? So that object that you want to use. So what you can do actually, one thing we can do, we can create this particular object type, that is the create user response, and this is the instance, right, that we can declare globally, right? So this is one of the use how you can do in your test cases. So what we can do actually, you can just copy this particular object reference into, let's say I'm declaring it is a globally into this particular class file. So if I say, let's say I have declared it over here, and I have to assign the data. Once this is declared, I'll do, I'll just assign the data to this when the response is received from this API call, right? So this reference is now holding the data there, which is you are getting from the response call, this response, right? Now this response is nothing but the variable, that object reference we have declared here. Now it is going to hold the data which you are getting your first test case call. This test case call data is going to now hold into it. Now we can utilize it into our different methods, right? So here you can see we are creating another object, so this is not going to need it, so we'll do remove it completely. So definitely we can use the instead, which is declared there in the uh, you can see global level or class level, whatever the instance we have declared there, the same instance we can use it. So in this way, what we can do is actually we can make ensure that the reference we have given there, reference data we have got from this particular response, it is going to be assigned to this particular object reference, and that similar object reference I'm going to use over here, right? So this is how you can utilize one test case data into your different test case data. Now let's say if I go to, and if I go and run this particular test case, what happened? Let me run this particular test. You can see test is got executed. Now we both the test case got executed. From the first response you can see this is the response from the first test case. If you go to my second test case, now you can see that it is giving me the print of the response, right? So this is how guys you can utilize one test case data which you are getting, and you are storing to the POJO object reference. This is one of the response class, and we are storing the response data, and that we are utilizing into a different test method, right? So this is inside of your same class. If you have multiple test method, and inside of multiple test you want to exchange your data, then what you can do, you can just mark that test particular instance, right, as a global or test level variables, so that it can be utilized into your subsequent methods also, right? Hope this concept is clear to you guys. Now one more thing guys, let's say this is one of the class where I have created a user, and I have another class which is called as a login test, right? And that is a different class. So there I want to use the created user, right? Then how to achieve that, right? So how can we can do that? So let's first create another class. So let's say this is my login test, right? So I'm creating another class. Inside of this, I'll be taking two methods. So I'll just copy this test method there also. Okay. So I do not have to write again and again. So I'll create, let's say this is my update login user, right? Login user test. I'll be using one test case for now. Okay. So here, let me remove this statement inside of login test. Okay. Now I want to use the names whatever we got in the response from the particular particular user response that inside of the test case method, right? So that POJO response return me the POJO object, and that response I want to use the data, whatever is all we have received there, I want to use into my login test, right? How to use that, right? So what we can do actually, we have to use we use this particular variable. This is one of the, you can see, object reference we have created there in this particular class method. uh, that object reference I have to use inside my login test, right? Then how or what we should do inside site, right? So in that case, you have to make ensure that your login test and create user test both should be executed at same time. In the sense, in sequence, first your create user test case should get executed, and after that your login user test get executed. Otherwise, it is you cannot achieve that, right? So what you can do actually, you can create to execute both the classes at a single execution. Then what we have to do? Here is the approach of TestNG XML approach is coming here. TestNG XML, what it does now. So let's first see what is TestNG XML. So if you search here TestNG XML, right? So TestNG XML, let's say I'm going to Google, I'll say XML file. Okay. So software TestNG Java, Google TestNG documentation. So I'll go to here, TestNG documentation, XML file. Uh, Okay, now here one of the simple TestNG XML we have written, we can see here. So let's take this TestNG XML. Can specify name. Okay, this looks better. So I'll take this particular TestNG XML. What it is do actually, you have to create an TestNG.xml file. Here you can see here is an example of TestNG.xml file. So we'll be creating an TestNG.xml file there in our project. You can create anywhere in this project. Some people create that inside of this resources method, and some people create there inside of the src, inside of the directly to the project location. Okay, so I'll just create it directly to the project location, that doesn't matter. So I'll say testng.xml. Name doesn't matter, you can go ahead with any name. Okay, it doesn't matter that you have to use the particular name, that is not a matter. You can define whatever name you prefer, right? And the content we have copied, I'll just paste it over here. Now this is, if you go through this, and I'll remove this part first is, okay, this is not needed. Here I can say, this is my suite, and suite is nothing but is a collection of test cases. Okay, and inside of the suite there can be multiple tests. Inside of the multiple test there can be multiple classes. Inside of the multiple classes there can be multiple class, and inside of the class there can be multiple number of tests. Okay, for now I have to pass the classes that you want to execute from your test case, from your test engine runner. So if I go to here, you can see inside of the Java REST assured API test, inside my TestNG, I have two test case class file that I want to execute from this particular suite, right? So what I have to do actually, if you go to this particular test case, you can see the package is over there. You can just copy this package. Inside of this, your test case class is there, right? So just copy it and go to here and paste the test case your class name, right? If you say dot, you can see you're getting the name of the classes, right? So I'll take the first one as a create user test, and similarly you can add your second test also. right? That is a login test. Not only this one, you can see here we have another option also. We can close the class option, sorry. So instead of this, you have one another in tag called methods. Okay, instead of the methods, you can include or exclude your method names. Okay, so instead of this name, you have to pass the name of your test method. So let's say if I go to my create user test, this is one of the first test case. Uh, Sorry. So this is my first test case. So I have to say the name is create user test. So similarly, instead of writing this way, you can write this way also, that is fine. And you can copy and paste. You can add your another test case, right? So this is another test method. We can just copy and paste it over here. So I'll be adding it over here. Now inside of the test, similar to what we can do actually here. For this, I'm inside. I'll be going ahead with the similar approach instead of the method, and my test method name is login user test, right? So you have to copy it and paste it over here. Now you can see what happened. So here I have two class. First class is nothing but my create user test, and second class is nothing but login test, right? So we have added this class into a particular all the classes and all the test method into a particular. This is a runner file for TestNG. What it will do, it will sequentially pick all these test method that you have defined here. You have mentioned the name. If you want to execute, you can use the include. If you do not want to execute, you can use the exclude method is there. So if you say include, so it will run this particular test case. If you say in exclude, so it will skip this particular test case. For now, let me go ahead with the include only. Let me run this particular test case first. After that, we'll see. For running the test case, what you have to do actually, you can just come to your TestNG.xml file, right click on it. You can say we should have one option, create git open. Okay, here you can see we are getting the option as a run. Okay, that is running my class only. We are not interested on that. So here you can see we are getting one option is a run testng.xml, right? You have to click on it. So if you say run this, so you can see it is the running the suite. Now you can see all the test cases got executed. Not only your first create user test case. There are two test cases was there from the login test also to test case. So you can see now two test case classes got executed. So in this way, the number of test case class you have, all the test case classes got will get executed. So if I say, let's say I want to exclude this particular test case. So now right now I have two include test case. So if you execute once again, this time it will execute two test case only, right? So here you can see we have only two test case got executed, and at the end it will provide you the result also. Here you can see number of test cases executed and pass and fail on numbers, right? So this is the use of include and exclude. How to use include, exclude, or the question may come that how to enable or disable test cases from TestNG, right? So this is one of the approach, guys. But for now, let's say what I want to do. I want to use some parameter which was given there inside of this particular, and we want to extend that use case there in the login class. For that, what we can do, we have to use the response that we are getting from here, and that response we should be able to use over here, right? So what we can do, we can create one base class over here. Let's say I'm creating one test base. Okay, so this is my simple base class. Here what you can do actually, you can do the all project setup kind of activities. So let's say what we will do, I'll be having, let's say, before at that, before test, I'm taking here before test. I'll be giving a name as a, let's say, public void um, public void, let's say before test. Okay, now what we can do actually, let's say I'm just giving a print statement, system out print for test method. For test method which will be getting executed before each and every test set. So you can see this is my test tag, and the test which is become, which is there inside of this test tag are inside of this particular test tag. So similarly you can have another test, let's say for test I'll be having, let's say, as a sanity test, right? So in this way, you can define your own test number of, you can say, number of your test sets, right? So for now, let's say we are there in the regression test cases, and these are my regression test cases. So, uh, and let's say I want to have in my sanity also, I want to just include one test case. So let's say I'm not including this one, only login user test, right? No, it will not work because login user test has dependency. So let's say I'm just including update user test over here. I'm just including create user test in my sanity. Okay. Okay. So there are the two set of test cases we have created. So this add the test, what it does, it will get executed before test annotation. This will ensure that it will get executed before your each set of tests get executed. This is one set of tests and this is another set of tests. Okay. Before this set of test case, doesn't matter how many number of tests they are inside of this particular set of tests and how many number of here, before the number of tests tag you have over here in this particular external file, the before test will get that number of times. Okay, so now here my topic is, let's say this is something response that we have created. We in the you got the response that in the create user list, right? I want to use it globally into different classes also. Then how we can go ahead with this approach? What you can do inside your test base, you can have a one global level variable. Let's say I'm saying create user response, and I'm taking one of the response called as a create user response, right? And this test base I want to use there inside of this particular, let's say I want to extend it test base. Okay, so I have extended. I want to avoid this, so I do not want to use it over here. So what you can do actually, now if you are not let me remove that particularly. Okay, so what happened actually, guys, you can see now this create user response, this is the variable which is coming from at that test base test, right? So now this become global variable. This is something what we have initializing here in this particular test base. We have just declared it over here inside of the test base, and that is something we are initializing there in the create user test case. Here we are initializing. So this object reference value will get initialized when this particular create user test case get executed, right? Now let's say I want to use this particular create user response here in the login test, right? So what we can do actually, we can just you can say test base extend test base. Now if I call this particular create user response, I should be able to call and I should be able to get name, right? So let's, what we can do, we can go to the TestNG class. You, if you directly execute this particular method, it will not be able to fetch the data because that value of this get user response is not initiated, right? If you execute directly from here, you can see we are getting the rest, or getting it failed, right? It is saying throwing you null pointer exception because the that particular object reference is not at all initiated. The value of this particular reference is not initiated. So what we can do actually, you can run the test case in your suite mode so that all the test case get executed and the value should get initiated, and after that we should be able to get the result, right? So let's say I want to go to the my TestNG and I'll be running it from the TestNG approach, right? So in my suite execution, so let's see what happened. You can see suite got started. Now you can see we are still getting some issue there in the login test. You can see it is throwing me null because this create response is null, right? Fix the issue, and here you can see the changes I have done is, if in your inside your test phase class, what I did, I made my this particular object reference create user response as a protected and static. The static is important, guys, because to hold the data, and if you do not using static keyword, then it is not holding the data, it is getting null for after every test case class got executed, after every class it is making it nullify. So what we did actually, we can change this particular object reference to protected and static. And before and if once you made it static, and then we just getting the fetching the name here, that is not an important things. Once you have done this, we are able to fetch the data inside of this login test method. Here you can see this is the object reference that we is coming from the my test space class. Now if I run this my TestNG.xml, what happened, you can see it is now started running. Now you can see it is running the test case and we are getting the successful result from this login user test, right? So this is how you can utilize the data which is get created into one test case. And you can, if you want to implement those data, let's say here we got the response and it is stored there inside of the create user response. That is something that we are going to use inside my login test case class, right? So this is one of the way, this is how you can go ahead with this development. Hope this concept is clear to guys. We have to take a help of this test space class. This is another test space, another class which is going to be extend into this particular both of the test case class file. This means in general it is what happen actually, all your test case class should extend this particular test base. And also these methods are sometimes not written over here. It this before and after methods are being written there inside your test base, so that you do not have to every time repeat those before and after method in your each and every test case class. But yeah, if there is a need is different for your test case, then you have to define inside your particular test case class also. Those things we will say differently and discuss on or different videos, but for now this is one of the very useful you can say technique that I have shown you, how to pass data which is there in your one test case and how you can utilize that data into your different test case, right? And this video is becoming very long now. I'll be stopping it over here and hope this is the concept is clear to you guys. So we have to know, we got to know that what is TestNG, how to use the TestNG, and we have also seen how to use the TestNG.xml files, and also we have seen there are some use cases of the tags, what is test tag, what is classes, and how to include and exclude. All these things we have already we got to know, right? And we'll see you in the next video. Also let me know if you face any issues, any problem you're facing in your real-time work, right? So that I'll try to respond you on my next video. And stay tuned and stay learning, keep happy guys. Keep learning. Thank you guys, bye.